Friends, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So, students, today we will discuss our chapter photosynthesis and respiration in plants. Now, students, first of all, you should know what is the process of photosynthesis. Now, process of photosynthesis, it is a process by which the plants, especially green plants, they make their own food with the help of carbon dioxide, water, sunlight and a green coloring pigment chlorophyll. And the end products of this process of photosynthesis, they are glucose and oxygen. And all the organisms, they depend upon green plants for their food, whether directly or indirectly. Means, firstly, the plants, they make food with the help of water, sunlight and the green coloring pigment and carbon dioxide, and then this food which is formed in the form of glucose, it is eaten by the herbivorous organisms, and then these herbivores, they are eaten by carnivores, and then these carnivores, they are eaten by higher carnivores. So it means the food, the energy of food, it is transferred from plants to herbivores, then from herbivores to carnivores, and from carnivores to higher carnivores. So in this way, all the organisms present on this earth, directly or indirectly, they depend upon the process of photosynthesis for their food requirement. Now, this green coloring pigment chlorophyll, I have told you that photosynthesis process, it is carried on with the help of this green coloring pigment chlorophyll. Now this chlorophyll which is present in the leaves, it helps the plants trap the energy from sunlight and use the solar energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into food. So it is a main function of chlorophyll. Firstly, where this chlorophyll it is present? Chlorophyll, it is present in the leaves. And secondly, what is the main function of chlorophyll? The main function of chlorophyll, it is to trap the energy from sunlight and use the solar energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into food. Now this process of photosynthesis, it involves a series of chemical reactions, but I will show you this process of photosynthesis in the form of a balanced chemical equation, and this balanced chemical equation, it is in the form of carbon dioxide plus water, and it needs sunlight and chlorophyll, and then glucose and oxygen, they are formed. So these are the raw materials for the process of photosynthesis, and these are the end products of the process of photosynthesis. Then glucose, which is produced in the process of photosynthesis, it is transported to all parts of the plant's body, and some part of this glucose, it is used by the plant body, and the remaining unused part, it gets stored in the plants in the form of starch. And then this stored starch, it is again converted to glucose when there is a requirement of energy again, or when there is requirement of energy to form cellulose, proteins or fats. So it is all about the process of photosynthesis. Now we will discuss about the site of photosynthesis. As I have told you earlier that process of photosynthesis, it is carried by the green plants, but in green plants there are special organelles which are carrying this process of photosynthesis, and these organelles, they are called the chloroplasts. Now in plants, three types of plastids, they are present. One is called leucoplast, second one is called chromoplast, and third one is called chloroplast. And these chloroplasts, these are the plastids which are having green coloring pigment chlorophyll, and these chloroplasts, they are responsible for the of food. Now students, we will discuss about the structure of chloroplast. Now each chloroplast, it consists of two parts. One part, it is called the grana. This is the grana, which is the liquid matrix, this is a grana which is the piles of flattened sac like bodies, and these flattened sac like bodies, they are also known as the thylakoids. And there is another part which is known as the stroma, and this stroma, it is a liquid matrix part of the chloroplast in which these thylakoids are flattened sac like bodies, they are embedded. Now the thylakoid membrane, it contains protein complexes. This member of thylakoid, it contains protein complexes, and from these protein complexes the chlorophyll pigment it is formed. So the exact location of the chlorophyll pigment, it is the wall of the thylakoid where photosynthesis reaction occurs. Now students, we will discuss the role of stomata in photosynthesis. Role of stomata in photosynthesis. Now, first of all, you should know what are stomata. Stomata, these are actually the minute openings which are present on the surface of leaves. And these minute openings which are present on the surface of leaves, they are called the stomata. And it is through this stomata that the gases they are exchanged between the atmosphere and the plant. Now, what kind of gases they are exchanged between atmosphere and plant? These gases they are like carbon dioxide and oxygen. Now, it is through the stomata that carbon dioxide it enters the plant body and oxygen it escapes into the atmosphere during the process of photosynthesis. Now, stomata, they are scattered among the cells of the surface layer of a leaf. Scattered means they are present almost on the entire surface of the leaf, and the surface layer of leaf, it is also known as the epidermal layer. Now, students, we will discuss the structure of stomata. Now, stomata in its singular form, it is also known as the stoma. And each stoma, it consists of two bean-shaped guard cells. Now, students, you can see in this diagram that these are the two bean-shaped. Bean-shaped means the bean vegetable which we are eating. So, bean seed. You can see the structure of this guard cell, it is like the bean seed. So, that's why it is known as the bean-shaped guard cell. So, there are two bean-shaped guard cells, and these two in between these two bean-shaped guard cells, this stomatal opening it is present. Now, the stomatal pore, when does it get open and when does it get closed? Now, we will discuss it. Now, students, you can see that these guard cells, around these guard cells, these cells they are present, and these are called the mesophyll cells also, and these surrounding cells also you can say. And these guard cells, during the process of photosynthesis, when these guard cells they when these surrounding cells they get the water from through the xylem vessels, when the water it is reached to these cells, surrounding cells, then from these surrounding cells the guard cells they take the water. Now, the water it gets entered from the surrounding cells to the guard cells. When this water it gets entered from the surrounding cell to the guard cell, then these guard cells they get swollen like a balloon. Just like a balloon, when we fill water inside the balloons it gets swollen. So, in the same way these guard cells they get swollen, and as the inner surface of this guard cells, you can say this see this one, this inner surface of the guard cells, it is more as compared to the outer surface. So, in this way the guard cells they outwards, when they get filled with water then they get bulge outward, and when they get outward then this opening or the small area which is present between these two bean shaped guard cells it gets more broad and more widened, and this lead to the opening of the stomatal pore. So, in this way stomatal pore it gets open. Now, this stomatal pore it also get open in response to various stimuli such as the intensity of light. Means when the sunlight it is more, then there will be more and more process of photosynthesis, and due to it this stomatal pore it also gets open. So, in this way you can see that this pore it gets open. Now, we will discuss how this stomatal pore it gets closed. And one thing I will tell you, that when this stomatal pore it gets opened, then it will allow the exchange of gases from atmosphere to inside the leaves and from the leaf to the atmosphere. Now, students, we will discuss when these guard cells they get closed. Now, at night time, when there is no process of photosynthesis and no more water it is available to the plant body, now the water in the surrounding cells it also gets short, and in this way the guard cells they will also get short of water. Means they lose water now, because there is no more water around them, so they lose water, and due to the shortage of water in them, now they get collapsed or they get shrink. And when they get shrink, then as you see in this diagram, next diagram here I have drawn with the help of then when the guard cells they get shrink, then these bean shaped the inner surface of the guard cells they become more closer to each other, and in this way the stomatal pore it gets closed. So, in this way the stomata they get opened and closed. Now stomata, they usually open during the daytime when there is process of photosynthesis, and they get closed during the night time when there is no process of photosynthesis. So students, it is all about the role of stomata in photosynthesis. Now we will discuss the factors affecting photosynthesis. Now there are some factors which affect the process of photosynthesis, and these factors, they are like light, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide and water. Now students, we will discuss some activities by which we will see that how these factors, they affect the process of photosynthesis, and also we will see that how these factors, they are essential for the process of photosynthesis. Now firstly, we will discuss the factor that starch, it is the end product of photosynthesis. Now there are different activities which are written here. Okay students, firstly we will discuss only first activity. First activity, it is that oxygen is formed during the process of photosynthesis. So for performing this activity, we have to take a funnel, then we need a test tube, then we need a large beaker, a hydrilla plant with the stem cut obliquely, and some sodium bicarbonate. Now students, first of all we will take a funnel and we put the plant inside this funnel. You can see in this diagram that we will take a funnel, this one, and we will we will put the plant inside this funnel. Now, the cut end of this plant, it should be inside the stem of the funnel. This is known as the stem of the funnel. It should be inside the stem of the funnel. Now we will take a test tube. This is a test tube also. Upon this funnel, actually it is the in the form of a keep like structure. So upon this keep, we will place an inverted test tube, and this test tube, it should be filled with water. Now we have to keep this whole apparatus along with plant in a beaker, and this beaker, it should be filled with water also. Now we have to add a pinch of that sodium bicarbonate in this beaker, and when we added this pinch of sodium bicarbonate in the beaker, then you can see that carbon dioxide, it starts forming due to the action of sodium bicarbonate and water. The carbon dioxide gas, it will start forming. Then after that, we will place the beaker in sunlight, and when we will place the beaker in sunlight, then you can see that at the top of this test tube, you can see these bubble like structures, they are formed. So students, if we test these bubble like structures, then you will come to see that these bubble like structures, they are actually the oxygen, bubbles of oxygen gas, which is produced during the process of photosynthesis, because we know that oxygen gas is produced during the process of photosynthesis. So it is these are the oxygen bubbles. And if you want to test that whether it is oxygen or something else, then you can bring a burning matchstick inside this test tube by taking the test tube from the stem of the funnel. By removing it from the stem of the funnel, you can add a burning matchstick inside the test tube, and if this matchstick, it continuously burns, then it means it is oxygen gas, and if it stops burning, then it means it is not oxygen gas. So in this way, you can also test the presence of oxygen during the process of photosynthesis. So it is all about our first activity. Now our second activity is that starch, it is the end product of photosynthesis. Now again, for it, we have to pluck 1 or 2 leaves from a plant during the afternoon, and we have to put them in a test tube containing alcohol. Okay students, one thing I will tell you that before performing an experiment on photosynthesis, we have to perform one activity that is known as the destarching of leaves. And that destarching of leaves, you can see in this diagram, this is about the destarching of leaves. And for this destarching of leaves, what you have to do, you have to keep that plant in a dark room. You have to keep that plant in a dark room, so that the in a darkness, now there will be no process of photosynthesis, and the starch which is formed during the process of photosynthesis earlier, the starch which was formed earlier in the and which is stored now in the leaves of the plants, now it get consumed by the plant when it is kept in dark during the process of respiration. So whole of the starch it is consumed by the plant during the process of respiration. Now no more starch it is present, and it means whole the starch now it gets removed from the leaves of the plants. So this process of removal of starch from the leaves of plants, it is known as the destarching of leaves. So it is all about the destarching of leaves. Now students, we will discuss our next activity, that is the starch. It is the end product of photosynthesis. For it we have to pluck 1 or 2 leaves from a plant during the afternoon, and then we have to put those leaves in a test tube containing alcohol. As you can see in this diagram that we have kept this leaf in a test tube containing alcohol. Now place the test tube in a beaker filled with water, and then you have to heat this beaker of water upon a flame until the alcohol in the test tube it turns green. Now students, one question is here, that why we heat this test tube by placing it in a beaker full of water, why we are not heating it directly on the flame? The answer is because this test tube it is filled with alcohol. Here alcohol is present, and if we heat the alcohol directly on flame, then this alcohol it will catch fire. So we will first keep it in a beaker full of water, then we will heat the beaker. So the heat energy of this boiling water it will reach to the test tube, and in this way this it will heat the alcohol inside the test tube. And after some time you can see that whole of the alcohol it turns greens, because whole of the chlorophyll now it is removed from the leaves, and now the leaves it becomes without chlorophyll. And after it, when whole of the chlorophyll it is removed from the leaf, then we will take out the leaf from the test tube, then we will rinse it under tap water, and then we will keep it in a trough only, and then we will keep it in a trough, and then we will sprinkle some iodine drops on this leaf. And when we sprinkle some iodine drops on leaf, then you will see that this leaf it will turn blue black. Now why this leaf it will turn blue black? Because here in this case there is no destarching, so that's why here already starch it is present in the leaf. So due to the presence of starch, the leaf it will turn blue black, and it indicates the presence of starch, means it indicates that when this leaf it is present on the, it is attached to the plant, and when that plant is kept in sunlight, then there is process of photosynthesis, and then it means starch is formed which gets stored in the leaf, and in this way this leaf it turns blue black. So it shows that starch it is the end product of the process of photosynthesis. So students, for today the lecture is enough, so you have to revise all these things. Again in the next lecture I will revise the that discuss the another 2 activities along with the significance of photosynthesis and the process of respiration. Okay students, thank you.